welcome back to Rewatch Movie. I'm Mike, he's Jay, and here in a few months, this clown is going to come to your house in August and he's going to fuck with your mind.
Or he's just going to give you balloons and have great times.
Who knows?
But, okay.
He's a Walmart clown.
Float down here, Georgie.
Oh, God. So, but what we want to do up to that point is we want to review as many Stephen King movies as we can. So, last week we did Sleepwalkers, where that dude fucks his mom.
God damn. Talking about a bad Sunday.
You said it best, brother. And this week, this one's on Netflix, so we want to go ahead and do it now. Dreamcatcher. I don't know if you want to watch it, but when you look at I've never seen this movie before, okay?
I read the book, and then I'd seen the movie a long time ago, and I gotta tell you, there's a reason why I avoided this fucking like the plague.
But when you look at it, dude, like...
The cast looks great.
Yeah, I looked at I was like, oh shit, I typed in Stephen King into my Netflix, this popped up, and I was like, oh, might as well. And then I saw the cast.
Yeah, Mike texted me, and he was like, hey man, have you ever seen Dreamcatcher? And I was like, yeah, a long time. He's like, you want to review that for Stephen King Week or whatever? I was like, yeah, sure. I knew the darkness that we were wading into. I was like, but I'll go with you, my friend. Mike was like the horse from the Neverending Story. Atreyu, like, Atreyu! But he was going to sink and die.
That's a good fan.
Because well, it's a good horse, but it died. But the thing about the movie itself is Dreamcatcher, the story, the book was good. I mean, it was a really good book. But, and when you look at it on the surface, what Mike, you were getting to, is like the top-billed cast seems fucking incredible. It's incredible. I mean, you got Morgan Freeman, you got friggin' Timothy Olyphant,
Thomas Jane
Punisher in it up,
Donnie Wahlberg. I mean, I don't know if that's
yes, Donnie's in it.
Jason Lee too.
Jason Lee.
What happened to his fucking career?
You know, My Name Is Earl took off, and it just left him in the dark.
Sometimes you ride the lightning and crash like thunder.
I mean, is Mr. Fantastic, or is the thing everything is he rock? Is his schlong a rock? I just think of Mallrats every time I think of him. But it's a weird. The movie itself starts off really, really solid. Like, it's a really solid opening, and it's this supernatural kind of thing. All these friends, and it's kind of reminiscent of like the It Loser Club, because they all these guys are all friends, and they've been best friends forever since they were kids in Derry, Maine.
And they're from Derry.
And everybody loves Derry. But they're from Derry, Maine. They've been friends forever. And when they meet this one kid that's getting bullied, and they stand up for him, named Duddits. He gives them this gift or this ability, and they all have each have a different kind of abilities. Like, one thing that connects them all is they can all speak together without speaking. Like, they all have telepathy, and some of them have other gifts. Like Timothy Olyphant can see or find things that are hidden. One of them can see. I think it's like he can see parts of the future, I guess. And then there's they all have different specialized abilities in this psychic realm. From that point on, though, after about 25 minutes, and it gets into a generic dumb shit movie. Yeah. When Morgan Freeman's introduced, and I never thought I'd say that, when Morgan Freeman is introduced, I was like, we've gone to Sucktown, and he's fucking the mayor of Sucktown, and you're like, fuck! It's Morgan Freeman! Yeah. I was like, he was God.
And that's what happens, man. The first part of this movie is fucking awesome. First off, I want to say this, like, even though the cast is great, there was two characters that hadn't figured out totally how to act yet. I feel like Thomas Jane is a badass actor and he's underrated, but in this movie, dude, he was still a little bit like, there's one scene where he's holding a gun to his head and he's thinking about committing suicide, and the look on his face, instead of saying I'm going to commit suicide, it says, what sub should I have for $5 footlong day? Like, he doesn't even look like Thomas Jane just hadn't had it figured out yet, or he didn't give a shit, or I don't know what the deal was.
My God, it's a gun.
Timothy Olyphant has this weird fucking haircut, man, and like he seems a little bit off too.
I think it's funny because Timothy Olyphant's character, I think they were going for, he's happy that he's friends with everybody still, but at the same time he hates the fact that he has this ability because he always gets turned away by girls because they think he's a freak or something. He's like, we could just go have clams. Just have clams. I just found your fucking keys.
That scene was bullshit, dude, because he could have had it so easily if he didn't just go so far.
He got weird.
Yeah, he got really weird. And then Jason Lee's probably the best actor in this movie as far as his performance. He's fucking great, and I love his lines. Like, each character has it. You can tell these characters are meant to be so much deeper than they are in this movie. Like, they all have their little sayings and stuff, and they're all sitting around having beer and talking. And Jason Lee's character always says, "Fuck me, Freddy." I've been saying it all week since I saw this movie, but it's really good up to a point where they're in this cabin, these friends get together, they have a few beers, that's where they always enjoy their friend time, and that's what we call it here, friend time.
It sounds like a Nickelodeon show.
Yeah, and this
Eureka's Castle.
They find this stranger in the woods who's got this infection or whatever, and they think it's just frostbite, so they invite him in, he starts shitting and burping all over the place.
I would have already kicked him out, and he was like, oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed. that
shit was funny.
I know it was funny, but it was cheesy and corny. Yeah. I don't know, it's like some Stephen King movies, even when they're big budgeted Stephen King movies, it's like they suffer from this overwhelming cheesiness sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the lines or what, but he's sitting there, he's like, oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed. And it's like, that doesn't even go with your character. You're a hunter in the woods, like, you're hunting fucking deer, and you're like, I'm so embarrassed, can I have some tomato soup? And he's like, I must have ate something, I ate berries. Fuck me, Freddy. He's like, that's one of the best burps I've ever heard in my life. And he's like, it's okay, buddy. I just met you, but I'll just open the window if you're taking a shit on my fucking sofa. I'll be like, look, eat your tomato soup and get the fuck out. Like, it's done.
He's farting and shitting and burping all over the place. And then what eventually happens is he's got this parasite in him, and they find him in the bathroom, blood all over the place. And this, up to this point, man, I'm in love with this fucking movie. I'm like, where have people been? This thing escapes out of him and it gets into the toilet.
It's a shit monster.
He's fucking dead. It's a poo monster. It's
a big ass turd.
Just like in Dogma.
Yeah.
And Jason Lee's sitting on the toilet and he has like a bunch of issues, like personal issues. Like he's obsessed with these toothpicks. So he's sitting on this toilet and he's holding the toilet closed and the poop monster's in there and he's like, go get some tape. And the other guy goes to get the tape, Jonesy, and he's sitting there and this thing's about to burst out and fucking kill everybody. Now, clearly there's an infection happening. There's blood and shit all over the place. It reminds me of my first bar mitzvah. There's blood.
Reminds me of my first time with Taco Bell. blood and shit everywhere.
There's shit everywhere. And he tries to pull out a toothpick and the thing bumps on the toilet. He drops the toothpicks. There's a toothpick laying next to this blood and feces. And he's trying to pick it up and put it in his fucking mouth.
Don't you know about infection, you nasty dumbass?
What are you doing?
He's trying to, like, literally holding this toilet seat down. He's holding this toilet seat down to wait for Jonesy to get some duct tape. It reminded me of the Guardians guys. Like, is there nobody with duct tape?
It's like when your drunk friend's reaching for another beer. You're like, stop.
But he's like reaching over and he's like trying to get, and there's like blood and it's all, and there's one toothpick that's not been touched. And he's trying to get it, and I'm like, dude, just let it go. Wait till Jonesy gets back, and I'm sure you guys can go have a beer and talk about it when you tape down the shit monster that's coming out of that toilet. And he won't stop, and then the thing bursts out. And literally, it's a slug worm thing. But I think it's funny. I think Morgan Freeman best describes it when he calls them shit weasels, because that's exactly what they got. Because they only come from your butthole.
Yeah.
They burst from your ass. Which, I mean, if there's one thing that I know, like something coming out of your butt is bad.
Yeah, the movie's cool up to this point, like
up to that
the
point.
shit monster point, and they go outside, and then they see all these animals running. He's like, "Fuck me, Freddy!" All these animals are running away, and then a helicopter pulls down. They're like, "This area's been quarantined," and it's fucking fascinating.
Basically,
up to that point, you're like, "What the fuck is going on?" But when, like you said, man, when it all goes downhill, is the next scene. The toilet monster comes out. He gets up inside of Jonesy.
Get inside you.
Now you're begging me to stay.
Dima.
He turns into a full-blown alien from Signs, and he's looking at you, and you're like, I'm still a little bit on board, even though the CGI is bad. Like, this shit's crazy.
I work with a guy that looks like that guy, though.
He does.
It's like that Jonesy guy. He's like.
He does this crazy mist, and then all of a sudden he possesses Jonesy, and then the next thing you know, you're introduced to Morgan Freeman's batshit Irish. He calls people laddie. It's fucking dumb.
Well, they kind of explain it, like, since they're the Blue Boys and they're not exactly regular army, they don't salute. There's no like calling you soldier, so he calls you laddie and stuff like that.
But
like
it's so fucking quickly done. It's like slapped on your face like some fucking steak.
I like certain parts of Morgan Freeman's character. I mean, Morgan Freeman's a phenomenal actor no matter what he does, but even he looked a little lost with what he was going to do here. But he is like, he's basically playing a general or a leading officer or commanding officer that's lost the edge, or lost, not lost the edge, but lost his grip on sanity. Yeah. And he's, like, there's one scene I thought was really cool when he comes in and one of the guys lies to him and he shoots him in the fucking hand. He's like, don't ever lie to me again. That part was cool. Like, that part showcasing his kind of mentality was cool. But then it gets to a point where it didn't make sense. I mean, the army comes in and relieves him, and he somehow still steals a helicopter and goes after what he considers his betraying first officer. Oh my God, there's so much, there's just so much stupidity going on.
His character ends up completely pointless in the plot. And then, like, Tom Sizemore takes over for him.
I like Tom Sizemore. It sucks.
Basically what happens is Jonesy's character becomes possessed by this Mr. Gray guy, and to hear Duddick say
Mr. Gray?
Mr. Gray.
Mr. Gray.
He says gay when he's this way he says it because he's got issues or whatever, and
it's time for you to go home, Mr. Gray.
Ooby-dooby-doo. And he becomes Donnie Wahlberg. So basically Thomas Jane convinces Tom Sizemore what's going on. Timothy Olyphant gets one of those things on his dick. I love Timothy Olyphant's character in this movie, though. He was cool as shit.
I like when he was drunk and he saw that girl. He's like, anyway, he goes, I had to drink this to cover up the smell of you farting nonstop. Like, it's classic Timothy Olyphant. He's just having a beer and he's talking.
It's cool monster shit, kind of like The Mist, which ironically Thomas Jane as well. There's those little cool monster scenes tied into this, and it's just so disappointing.
And The Mist is also a Stephen King novel.
Yeah, and then it turns into Logan. It turns into this road chase. They're going after Mr. Gay. Mr. Guy.
Mr. Guy.
And
Hello, Mr. Gay.
they meet up in this warehouse. Spoiler review, by the way. This movie's been out for forever. They go and they recruit Duddix to go and save the day. And the end of the movie is the most disappointing of everything. Because basically, the fucking shit monster becomes full bore. It stabs Duddix, and Thomas Jane's like, no.
And you find out Duddix has actually been an alien the entire time. He's fucking E.T.
Basically, Duddix he's like, he saves the day or whatever, but all he does is like he becomes enraptured. They turn to one thing, it turns into a puff of smoke, and then Jonesy, who we don't know if it's still Jonesy or is it still Mr. Guy.
No, Mr. Gay he'd already been
Right, but
out.
Thomas Jane's not sure. And then the one little worm that they're using to try to poison the water supply, Jonesy steps
Oh,
on
the
it.
end of the movie is oh my god,
It's
the end of the movie is the cringiest shit
Yeah.
ever. They both look at each other and it's like, and then it's like, and it's so nice. It's like this rock thing comes on, this montage, and the credits start rolling, and then you start hearing like narration of the credits, like we're best friends forever. Again, it was the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. I was like, I don't know who approved it.
It's like,
and
Jonesy.
Jonesy. But yeah, it really was a disappointing film overall, and it's disappointing in the fact that there was so much great talent. They missed an opportunity to do something really awesome with it. I don't even know. I can't believe that Stephen King had any desire to defend this movie. I mean, it's so off the book. Like, it's so away from what he was writing.
I'm surprised to hear that you liked the book because I assume that the book sucked too.
No, the book's it's more fleshed out. Like it's got better characterizations.
But Stephen King sold the rights to this movie for $1.
He always does that. No, that's his thing. That's his thing. I read the autobiography. I mean, he options his films for $1, and then it's his whole thing. But the book is he's never, to me, I've never really read. There's been a few bad Stephen King books. I don't like The Regulators. I didn't like it that much. There's another couple of ones I didn't like. But The Dreamcatcher was good. I mean, it was good. But again, Stephen King, for some reason, I don't know why, it's just one of those things, it's hard to translate to Hollywood a lot of the time. And it's kind of like, to me, the way that they treat The Punisher. Yeah. For some fucking reason, The Punisher can't get made, a decent movie can't come. I mean, I did like the Thomas Jane version, but one of those badass, forever awesome, Dark Knight kind of movies can't get made with The Punisher, even though he's the most relatable character you can really make a movie about. Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon was probably the closest great Punisher movie you could ever get. But anyway, at the end of the day, this movie... I'm gonna give it a 4.5 at the least. I mean, I'd even go lower, but honestly, there are some really good performances in it. I just don't like it. It makes me, because when I start watching, I'm like, you get like, okay, it's gonna be so fucking great. It's gonna be so good, and like, oh shit, I gotta go to work.
And it's shot well too. Yeah.
It's like if you're off, if your day's off, you have your whole day off. I'm gonna go. There's so many activities. I'm gonna go to Bed Bath Beyond, and then I might go and have like a croissant from Burger King, and then they call you and they say, you gotta come in. Fuck!
I'll go with a different analogy. It's like if you guys ever bought sports cards, it's like buying a whole box of cards and the first pack you open is like the most best shit ever. And you're like, this is fucking awesome. And then the rest of them are fucking shitty. It's like Manute Bowl. 12 packs of cards.
Sean Bradley.
I give it a 4 because I love the beginning. And the movie shot well. It looks really well. And it's directed by the guy who wrote all the Star Wars movies, which is crazy. Lawrence Kasdan. And he even said this movie fucked his career up really badly. But
you can see what? You had a shit monster in a bowl.
Cool cast, great idea to start with, and then it just went down the fucking toilet.
At the same time, yeah, literally the toilet. But at the same time, if you're gonna have a monster come out of your ass, the first scene, the first time we're introduced to the alien creature.
I like that though.
No, it comes out of your ass in a toilet. Like at least at that point, just make it campy. Like just be like, have fun with it.
It felt fun at that. That's what I'm saying. Like it felt fun, horrific, but anyway.
And don't kill off Jay. Oh well, fuck it. This is a spoiler. Don't kill him off early on like that. Like I mean, I would have rather had him because they kill off him and Timothy Olyphant, who could have been the comedic anchor. You could have made it like Eight-Legged Freaks, that campy ass style.
They reminded me of me and you when he's cooking dinner and he's like, I met a girl at the bingo last night. He's like, you met a girl at the fucking bingo.
He's like bingo, like old people.
Yeah, he's like, he's like, I thought I had a bad deal. It's like it turned into a nice fuckaroo. He's like, was it a fuckery or a fuckaroo? He's like, more of a fuckery.
It could have gone to a fuckaroo.
Yeah, so that's our rating. Comment down below, guys. What is one shitty Stephen King movie that you fucking love, and what do you guys think about Dreamcatcher? And what do you guys think about Jason Lee and his career? Like, what the fuck?
Where's he at?
I think he could have been in a bunch of shit. Like, there was a moment there where he was in a lot of shit.
He's still a good actor. It's just I don't know if he's made bad deals or what.
My Name is Earl.
My Name is Earl is like just got it pigeonholed.
And then he ended up in the Alvin and Chipmunks movies, but I bet he did make a fuckload of money.
Yeah, Rick Moranis made a shit ton of money on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids series, so who knows?
Yeah.
But it sucks.
I like Jason Lee. We love your fucking faces. If you're new to the channel, comment down below. click subscribe, and get some fucking wham up in you.
And stop eating those fucking berries in the forest because you might have a monster come out of your butt.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie.